Welcome back to MVM. Today I am bringing you a preview of Battle of the Bards, which is on Kickstarter right now. This is a 1 to 4 player competitive game about building the best band of bards, touring around the fantasy countryside and putting on performances at different taverns and inns, trying to capture the biggest audience. If you look here on the board, you're going to see a 4-player game already set up. You're going to see a few things laid out. You're going to see everybody's starting hands of cards, a dice pool in the center that players are going to draft from. You're also going to see a row of audience cards and a row of veteran performers. Now this game is a hybrid deck building and dice pool building game. You're going to be using elements of both in order to build the best band of bards, travel around to different inns, put on performances, capture audiences, and try to score the most points at the end of the game. The game ends as soon as one player has captured 4 audiences, and we'll talk about how to do that in a second. But to start the game, everybody is given a deck of cards that is the same. You're going to start with 2 of every basic performer. You have musicians, illusionists, dancers, and singers. Basically everything you need to put on a great fantasy show. You're going to start with 2 of each of those. In addition, everybody is going to be dealt a lead performer, and you're going to have a lead again for all of those different options. So I could be dealt, for example, the lead illusionist. If I have the lead illusionist, I start the game with 2 blue dice in my dice pool and a blue performance token. And again, we'll talk about how all that works. But then you'll take that lead card and you'll shuffle it into your deck along with all your other cards. There are also 2 other special types of cards. You're going to have roadies. Roadies are kind of act like wild dice in your deck, and they are also the only way to get toon tokens at the start of the game. And you'll see these toon tokens out here on the board as well. You'll also get a wanted poster, and this is a multifunctional card. You'll start with 2 of them, and it is the only way to recruit new musicians into your band. In addition, every player is going to have an Encore card, which is now dealt out to them in secret. These Encore cards are basically giving you a series of symbols at the bottom telling you which veteran performers they want you to collect. For example, this one wants me to focus on singers and illusionists. At the end of the game, I can score extra points if I have fulfilled this contract, basically, and we'll talk about that when we get to the end of the game section. So once everybody is set up, you're going to take your deck, you'll draw 4 cards, and then you'll be able to start the game. Now, you'll notice the other players out here have kind of already started their turn, but you look at your hand of 4 cards, you decide which 3 of these cards you want to play out in front of you, and then 1 card is kept in your hand. So once everybody has chosen their 3 cards and played them in front of you, you're going to build your dice pool. Everybody starts with the 2 dice that they were dealt at the start of the game. Then you're going to take 1 die for every color. So I get a blue die here, a purple die here, and a roadie lets me take any color dice I want. In this case, I can kind of look, I've got blue and purple. Maybe I want a red because I don't have any red here. You'll take those dice, you'll roll them, and these are the dice with which you have to spend your turn. Then we go into the main phase of the game and we take actions, turns 1 player at a time. You take 2 actions on your turn, then it goes on to the next player. We're going to go until each player passes. Once you pass, you're out of the round. But as long as you can still take actions, you can stay in the round, even if it's just you basically taking all your actions after everybody has passed. If you look at your cards that you've played, every card has an action at the bottom. You could take a die, for example, I could take a blue die, assign it here. This gets me another blue die, which I take and roll and add to the pool. You'll see here, again, I need a 3 or higher, which I have. Now, the color does not matter. I do not need to match up like a purple with a purple. I'm just looking at numbers. So I could turn this blue die into a purple die. You'll see some of these lightning bolts have lightning bolts pointed up. Some of them have lightning bolts pointed down. That means you just have to have that number or higher, that number or lower. If you look over here at some of the advanced performers, you'll notice that they need specific dice. So there are ways to try to make sure that you have that exact die that I'll talk about here in a second. So you're going to be taking these actions, gathering these items, including these toon tokens. Now, this is one of the ways you can mitigate dice. Once I have a toon token, I can turn this in and either change the value of one of my dice up by 1 or down by 1, or I can choose any number of my dice and re-roll them. So those toon tokens can be very powerful when you need exactly the right number. So all of the cards you play in front of you are going to provide actions. Some of the veteran cards actually allow you to flip over more cards from your deck to take more actions, to have more actions spread out. Because at the end of the turn, you're going to get to take all these dice back, all the dice you spent on your characters, plus all the dice you gained, set them aside. That's now your dice pool for the next round. So you'll see a little bit of the engine building that happens. You're going to start building and building and building these dice pools. However, there are times when you're going to have to spend these dice and actually lose them from the dice pool for the rest of the game. One of the main ways you're going to do this is to capture those performance tokens. When you look at your dice, you can look at any straight of 3 dice. So example, a 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, whatever. I can turn these in to take one of the performance tokens. You're going to get the performance token based on the majority color of the set you turn in. So when I turn in this 3, 4, and 5, you'll notice 2 blue and 1 purple. I would take a blue token. However, if it was something like this, where I have an equal set of colors, I get to choose which performance token. So in this case, I could take purple, red, or blue and put it in front of you. The reason you're going to want to collect those tokens is because you're going to turn them in to capture these audiences. You'll notice each audience has a different set of performance tokens they are looking for. You've got 3 to choose from, and then a preview of the new one that's coming soon. So that is the main way you're going to spend those dice, is to get these. And then on your turn, you can take an action, turn in those performance tokens, take the card, put it in front of you. It's going to give you victory points and an ongoing ability. So this is just another way you can build your engine, is by taking these cards that are going to build into your strategy and give you more to do with your dice and things like that. These are the victory points that you're going to get. The game ends when somebody has 4 of those. There is one more way that you will lose dice, and that is by playing that wanted card. This wanted card allows you to recruit a veteran from the dice pool down here, or from the pool down here. However, I have to spend 2 dice that are identical numbers. So if I had 2 4s, I could spend 2 4s, remove them from my pool again, and take one of these performers. Now, this performer here, the one closest to the deck, is called the newest Bard in town. They actually cost 1 more additional die. So they actually cost 3 to take that performer. However, you can take any other performer, and then at the end of the round, everything is going to slide down, and we're going to replace that new Bard. These performers that you buy are going to go into your discard pile. When you have to shuffle, they'll come up, they'll be part of your deck now. So if I had played this wanted card in front of me, it actually just copies the action of that newest Bard. So that's another way to take this bonus action without having to have that actual card in my hand. So if I choose not to, then I'm still left with cards in my hand. Now, this card is special. It can be done. You can do a variety of different things with it. First of all, I can discard at any time to act as a tune token, meaning I can discard this card to change the value of my die, or I can discard it to reroll my set of dice. I can also discard this card to take this top audience card. Normally, this audience card here is off limits. If I discard this card, I can turn in the tokens and take this one instead. If you end your turn and you haven't used this card for any reason, you have a decision to make. You can either put that card back in your discard pile, and then when you come back around, you'll redraw it, or you can fire him from your band, get rid of him, take him out of the game, and you're not going to see him again. Now, that's a good way to get rid of some of your lower level characters that aren't worth any victory points, and then you'll draw your veteran more often. So as the game progresses, you're always going to have 3 cards in front of you, unless a card has told you to draw more. At the end of your turn, you basically scoop them all up, put them in your discard pile. You keep whatever dice were assigned to your characters, plus whatever dice were just left floating. Any dice you spent to buy audience cards or to get veteran performers, those dice are gone. But you'll start to build a dice pool that carries over turn after turn. And this process is going to continue. Like I said, you want to be the first to get all 4 of these performance tokens. If you are, that triggers into the game. You're going to finish the round, and then you're going to go on to the Encore. And I had talked about earlier that everybody has this Encore card, and you'll see the certain colors of dice at the bottom. For example, this Encore wants 2 purple and 2 blue. I'm going to look at my deck at the veteran performers I hired. As long as I hired a purple veteran, I'm going to add a die to my Encore dice pool. If I had another purple veteran, I could add a second one. Now, if I had a third purple, it doesn't matter because this card only wants 2. So you can get up to 4 maximum dice, and then these dice are going to go into an Encore challenge. Everyone is going to collect up to 4 dice because that's the most you can get for an Encore, and roll them. If you have any Toon tokens left, you can still turn these Toon tokens in to reroll these dice, mitigate the dice values and things like that. Everyone's going to roll, combine the pip value of the 4 dice up to 4 dice they rolled, and whoever has the highest pip value is going to get 4 extra victory points. So at the end of the game, you're going to tally up all the points you scored from the audiences you captured. You're going to score points from the performers that you have in your deck, and somebody is going to have those 4 extra points. So once you've totaled that all up, you'll have a winner, and that is the end of the game. So that is Battle of the Bards. It is on Kickstarter right now, so go ahead and take a look at their Kickstarter page. Come back here, ask any questions, leave any comments, and as always, thank you for watching. Please subscribe here on YouTube, like us on Facebook, follow on Twitter, all that, so you don't miss any of the content that we provide for you. And have a great day, and I'll see you next time.